The latest episode of General Hospital delivered a chaotic mix of frantic cover-ups, tragic medical emergencies, and romantic tension that is clearly setting the stage for a massive fallout. Thursday's broadcast pushed several major storylines to their absolute breaking points, leaving fans with a lot to process. And honestly, where do we even begin with this mess? Let's start with the absolute emotional wreckage happening over at Lulu's house. So, Rocco Falconeri, a teenager, just shot WSB director Ross Cullum in the back on Pier 55. He did it to save Jason Morgan. And now the kid is completely traumatized. You can see it all over his face. He's eaten up with guilt. And honestly, who wouldn't be? He's just a kid. Nathan West brought him home from the pier, and both Nathan and Jason swore Rocco to absolute silence. Jason is literally framing himself to protect Rocco. Jason is taking the fall and letting Dante arrest him. Dante? Rocco's own father. The layers of irony here are just too thick. But Lulu Spencer is not an idiot. She's an investigative journalist, for crying out loud. She demanded answers as soon as Nathan left to go back to the Port Charles Police Department. She had Rocco alone, and she just begged him to tell her the truth. And he did. He broke down and told her the whole story. And what does Lulu do? She does exactly what Nathan told her to do. She swears Rocco to silence. She tells him he has to promise he won't tell anyone, ever, especially not Dante. What were they thinking? Writing this? It's brilliant, but it's so stressful. Hiding this from Dante is going to destroy them when the truth comes out. And the truth always comes out on this show. Always. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Lulu. She's just a mom trying to protect her kid from going to prison. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. If Dante finds out, he's going to arrest his own son. Or maybe he won't. I don't know anymore. I change my mind every 5 minutes with this storyline. Meanwhile, over at General Hospital, the irony is just reaching toxic levels. Lucas Jones is in Trauma 1. Desperately trying to save a patient's life, he is barking orders at his surgical team. He is telling them, he is not dying on our watch. Blood is dripping on the floor. The monitor flatlines. Lucas keeps working on him, doing chest compressions, yelling, "Come on, come on, come on." The patient's head is propped up on a pile of operating room towels. And who is the patient? Ross Cullum. The man who literally just stabbed Lucas's boyfriend, Marco Rios, and left him to bleed out on the floor of Alexis Davis's law office. Lucas has no idea. He has absolutely no idea that he is using every ounce of his medical skill to save the monster who murdered the man he loves. It is sick, it is twisted, it is classic soap opera perfection. And let's talk about Marco. Poor Marco. Isaiah Gannon and Elizabeth Baldwin had just finished operating on him. They closed him up. They thought he was stable. They were literally patting each other on the back, getting ready to move him to a recovery room. But you guys, you know the rule. Never pat yourself on the back on a soap opera until the patient is awake and talking, because suddenly Isaiah gets this look of pure panic on his face. He looks at the monitors and tells Elizabeth, something's not right. A last-minute complication, Marco is taking a turn for the worse. He seemed so close to survival, but now he is fading fast. We all know he's not going to make it. The spoilers have been hinting at it for weeks. Elizabeth is going to have to be the one to tell Lucas that Marco died, after Lucas just saved Cullum. I can't. I just can't handle the emotional devastation that is about to hit Lucas. It's too much. So while all this death and trauma is happening at the hospital, Jen, Sidwell, and Ava Jerome are just chilling and flirting. It's so bizarre, but also so on brand for Ava. They are standing in front of a painting she sold him, and they are standing way too close. They are practically in a clinch. They are close enough to kiss. Ava gives him that sultry look and says she enjoys challenges. Sidwell smirks and says he does too. The flirtation is just ramping up to ridiculous levels. They are definitely going to end up in bed together soon, but let's be real, this is the calm before the storm. Sidwell is flirting and playing art collector while his son is dying a few miles away. When Sidwell gets the news about Marco, he is going to lose his mind. He is going to turn into an absolute monster, and Ava is going to be right in the middle of it. Ava always attracts the most dangerous men. It's like a superpower, but a really bad one. And then there's the absolute chaos happening over at Carly's house. Charlotte Cassadine drove Danny Morgan over there. Danny is completely freaking out, and rightfully so. The poor kid just walked into Alexis's office and saw Marco bleeding out on the floor. Now he knows Jason is in danger. He bursts into Carly's house and shouts that his dad is in trouble. Carly is shocked, obviously. But then Danny drops the real bomb. He says Valentine Cassadine is the only one who can help. Valentine has been hiding in Carly's attic this whole time. He's a fugitive. But he comes down from the attic to listen to Danny's desperate plea, and you can just see the conflict in Valentine's eyes. He promised Carly he wouldn't leave. He was so worried about Charlotte being followed and sharing his location with Danny before, but now Jason's life is on the line, and Charlotte is standing right there, watching her dreams of a normal life with her father just go up in smoke. If Valentine leaves to help Jason, he's going to get caught, or he's going to have to go on the run again. Either way, Charlotte loses. It's heartbreaking. Why do the writers keep doing this to Charlotte? Give the girl a break. Back at the hospital, Britt Westbourne is having a complete and total meltdown. And I don't blame her one bit. She is freaking out in an examining room. She is shouting, one way or another, I am seeing Jason. She is so desperate. When she was first brought in, she wanted to talk to Lucas, but Portia Robinson told her he was in surgery. Then she wanted to talk to Marco, but she was told he was brought in as a patient too. And then she demanded to see Jason, and realized he was hauled off to the PCPD. Britt is racing against the clock. Her Huntington's disease medication was destroyed. Cullum smashed the 2 vials she had on the pier right before Rocco shot him. Someone has to go to Windermere and get more meds from the safe. But Britt is stuck at the hospital, and Jason is in police custody taking the fall for a teenager. Britt knows Jason is sacrificing himself. She knows he's going to be sent to some WSB black site like Steinmeier if she doesn't do something. She is terrified and angry and completely out of options. Honestly, the pacing of this episode was just relentless. You barely had time to breathe between scenes. One minute you're watching Lucas desperately pump Cullum's chest, and the next you're watching Sidwell try to seduce Ava. It's jarring. It's messy. It's exactly why we watch this show. But I am so worried about how they are going to wrap this up. Jason is supposed to be leaving the canvas soon. Steve Burton is taking a break. So how does this end? Does Jason go to prison? Does he go on the run? Does Cullum wake up and clear his name? Yeah, right. Cullum is never going to do that. Cullum is going to use this to his advantage. He's already framing Sonny for Marco's murder, so why wouldn't he frame Jason for his own shooting? And what about Rocco? How long can a teenager keep a secret like this? He's going to crack. He's going to look at Dante and he's going to crack. Lulu is trying so hard to hold it all together, but she's just putting off the inevitable. And Nathan? Nathan is playing with fire. He's a cop. He's actively covering up a shooting of a federal agent. If Brennan or anyone else at the WSB figures this out, Nathan is done. His career is over. He'll go to prison right alongside Jason. I just keep thinking about that scene with Lucas in the OR. The blood on the floor, the flat line, the sheer determination on his face. The writers really nailed the tragedy of that moment. Lucas is such a good person. He's a healer. He's doing his job. He's saving a life. And the universe is rewarding him by letting his boyfriend die in another room. It's so cruel. I know we need drama, but sometimes it just feels like they torture these characters for sport. Elizabeth is going to be a wreck when she has to tell him. Isaiah is going to blame himself. The whole hospital is going to be turned upside down. And Jocelyn. We can't forget about Jocelyn. She's out there connecting the dots. She's going to figure out that Cullum killed Marco and framed Sonny. And she hates Sonny. She wants Sonny to go down. But does she want him to go down for something he didn't do? Especially when the real killer is a corrupt WSB director who is actively terrorizing her friends? Jocelyn is going to have to make a huge choice. She's going to have to decide if her hatred for Sonny is stronger than her desire for actual justice. It's a great storyline for her. It really forces her to grow up and look at the gray areas of the world. But seriously, the Britt situation is what has me the most stressed out. The Huntington storyline has been simmering for so long, and now it's boiling over. She has no meds, her father's project is a mess, the WSB is breathing down her neck, and the only person who was really protecting her, Jason, is locked in an interrogation room with Harrison Chase standing guard. Britt is a survivor. We know that. She's the Britch. But even she has her limits. How is she going to get out of this? Is Brad going to step up? Is someone else going to steal the meds from Windermere? Marco tried, and look what happened to him. It's just a lot. It's a lot to process. The show is firing on all cylinders right now, and while it's exhausting to watch, it's also incredibly compelling. I just hope they stick the landing. I hope Jason's exit makes sense. I hope Lucas gets some kind of justice. And I hope somebody, anybody, finally takes Cullum down for good. Because I'm so tired of that guy. He's a great villain, but his time is up. Let's wrap this up. GH. Give us some closure before you break our hearts all over again.